All right, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this Board of Supervisors meeting to order. It is July 11th at 9 o'clock. And this is a special meeting. The second Tuesday is always a special meeting agenda, but we're adjusting it somewhat because we didn't have a meeting on the first Tuesday of this month. It was 4th of July. So we are going to be allowing oral communications, which we don't usually do for special meetings. Anyway, we'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have asked our Director of Health and Human Services to come up, and her name is Rebecca Espino, to help us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us this morning. We do, like I had said, we do have oral communications, and it's for anything that is not on the agenda. But before we do so, I always try to remind folks that we live in a community that cares for each other. And in this boardroom, we also display courtesy and respect for each other. And I always add some kind of a quote on kindness, because I think a touch of kindness is in order as well. It helps us all. So today, my quote is from a motivational thought leader. His name is Roy T. Bennett. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He has quite a few good things to say about kindness, but this is one of them. Life becomes easier and more beautiful when we can see the good in other people. And with that, I'd like to invite anyone who has an announcement or something they'd like to say to the rest of the community and to the board to come forward. You will have 3 minutes for your whatever you want to say. Come on up. Welcome.
Thank you. It's been a while since I did
come
speak this early. Good morning. Supervisor Goldenberg, I sent this to you as an email last Friday, and since I didn't hear back, I figured I would come here this morning to read it in person. I'm a fairly new resident in your district, and while I'm happy to be a resident of Sonora, I'm shocked at the stance of and what I see as a softness on prosecuting drug crimes in this county. I've read multiple recent articles of fentanyl busts resulting in no bail bonds being dropped within hours of arrest for the ones who are already on probation, and low bail amounts being handed out, allowing them to be back on the streets within days. This brings me to the bust that happened on July 1st, where 4 women were busted with over 200 grams of fentanyl, which is rumored to be enough to kill 113,000 people. It was made to look like candy in an effort to directly appeal to kids. You see, this is where this softness on drug crime is affecting me directly. One of those women runs her business in an apartment building in my neighborhood. I've had multiple run-ins with her and her crew of pushers. The neighborhood is infested nightly with people coming and going. Some stay for minutes, others staying for days or even weeks. I pleaded with the owner of the building to handle this issue, and nothing is being done. The entire neighborhood is sick of it, and it is less safe because of it. I would like to stress that I don't believe that this is a policing issue. They are doing a fantastic job. This is an issue of politics and a weak stance on drug enforcement by the DA. A quick search on one of the 4 women arrested shows that she is a known pusher and has been arrested for such multiple times dating back to 2004. So how is it that someone like that, who is now arrested with over 200 grams of the most deadly street drug on the market today, is given a $50,000 bail? That is just absurd. And it sends a message to her and all of her pushers that this area won't do anything to stop it, and that they will not be held accountable for their actions. I moved to Sonora in order to get away from the politics that are crushing the rest of the state. Is that 3 minutes?
No, 2 minutes.
50, sorry. I thought that this area would be different. I thought that this was the type of area that would protect the youth in the community and give them a brighter future, one that would enforce laws. I believe that our DA is looking out for her own career and cares more about what the state wants than what the folks in our community want. We're a small town here in Sonora, one that is growing as folks flee the cities and coasts in order to find a place that they can call home. but it is on the verge of being lost to drugs and the resulting crime if we don't do something about it. There needs to be severe penalties for these people. We must discourage them from killing the youth, not give them a pat on the back as they walk out of jail because they were able to post less than $5,000 bonds. Please, I plead with the Board of Supervisors. Take this crisis seriously. Force the DA to look out for this community. And if she won't, we need to find a new one. We should be a model for the rest of the state on how to stop this in its tracks, not be a mecca for those seeking to destroy us. We must support the police, increase their funding, and support them by punishing these people who deal this junk. And show the state that this can be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see the DA here, but I have asked the Bill Pooley, the sheriff, to step outside into the atrium to discuss this with you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the previous speaker, because I would like to talk about the 99-cent store. And while that's in the city limits, the ramifications can affect our entire county. So they have applied for an alcohol permit. How many places do we need in this county to sell alcohol? And I don't think they're going to be selling alcohol. I think alcohol is going to be shoplifted because they have a huge shoplifting problem at that store. So within the small little 3 square miles of Sonora, there are already 14 retail. Okay. I think what I'm saying is important, but if you don't, that's okay. There are already 14 retail outlets that sell alcohol. There's also 37 bars and restaurants. And then the county is even more. But we have a huge number of people who like to drive drunk. They drive drunk multiple times. We have underage drunk drivers. We had, 7 traffic fatalities in January of 2022 in 1 month alone. So if anyone would like to join me, I'm going to protest their application of a license based on oversaturation of alcohol outlets within a small geographic area. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And I'm sorry for the interruption. There was some confusion behind you, and I was just trying to direct it. I was still listening. Good morning.
Biomass boondoggle, and
Please.
I know that's not kind, but it's not kind what they're going to do to the people in Tuolumne County. Anyway, reminder: the rim fire. Following that, we have a former board member that's on a housing board. He finds out how much money is going to be in the resilience money, and bingo, they have the driver, the steering wheel in Tuolumne County. All of a sudden, this housing authority becomes a natural resources authority. And at the same time, a logging lobbyist sees gold in the 2025 ban on burning in the valley to save the lungs of all those people down there, but it would be worth millions in contracts to bring them up by trains and burn them in Tuolumne County at J59. We go along with a couple of years there, and there's millions of studies, and there's offers and money. You point to a place, we'll build you a plant. Jim Branham, former Sierra Nevada CEO, went down there on a tour and said, "This, you got to be kidding." And what's the board and the planners doing in Tuolumne County? All this money, and they're stashing it. We don't hear anything about it, and we have no free media, free press here. It's not watchdogs, it's a lapdog. So and then we have the Sorrel program with the Forest Service. They come in on it. People rub elbows, and all of a sudden, the Golden Sierra Financial Authority gets a 20-year contract, $350 million to put into these plants and stuff. They say they're going to truck all this waste down and low diameter wood, and they're going to maybe produce some power, and they're going to make pellets out of our Sierra softwoods that don't have the BTUs, and they're going to send them somewhere, Alameda County, or somehow they're going to get them out there. And the Forest Service stamps this. So I'm so mad. I can't find an attorney here. They're all representing all you guys. So I talked to someone in Washington, the Department of Agriculture, nice guy. And he said, "I'm sorry, I'm protecting the Forest Service. This sounds kind of flaky, but you need to go to the source." So I go, he gives me the name of the guy up here at the Stanislaus County can't get him. 5 weeks, he's permanently out of sight. Then I go and try to get a hold of the people down at Vallejo, the council general down there, and it was a comedy, the poor aides on the phone, people trying to tell him how to get me off the line before they hung up. So the attorney says it's going to cost $200,000 if you want to go to court and try to get them to fess up with all these documents, which they refuse to give to anybody, which on my salary, that's not going to work out. So I got NPR, the Modesto Bee, and CBS 60 Minutes, funny, tell me more. And if one of those hits and does an expose on where all this billions of dollars of money and who it's going to and how it's being handled, then you got a chance that the FBI might have a chance to get some subpoenas and stuff.
Thank you.
I'll be back, okay? It's a developing thing. Don't license this.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. So I will close the oral communications for this meeting and move on to staff reports. Staff that have reports for the board and the community, please come forward.
Good morning, members of the board. Christina Herrera, Agency Manager with Public Health. I'm here to provide a couple of public health updates. First off, Public Health will be at several outreach events in the next few months. Our team will be at the Back to School Bash this Saturday, which is sponsored by the Tuolumne Band of Miwok Indian Health Clinic, where we'll be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with our vaccine information as well as our general public health info and our CalFresh smoothie bike. On July 20th in the evening, we will also be at the Blue Zones bike event in Columbia State Park, as well as the Motherlode job training event at the Opera Hall the same day from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So hopefully we see a lot of the community there. We'll have a lot of our information and vaccination clinics. Also, an exciting new initiative of Public Health is our effort to promote staff development. When we can, and as the budgets allow, we try to encourage staff education and professional development. Last year, we launched our first public health internship program that we intend to extend upon in the next year. We have exciting plans to continue our partnerships with UC Merced, CUC Stanislaus, and hope to finalize our internship pipeline with Columbia College by the end of the summer. Thank you to Trevor with the IT department, who's been a really great resource as we collaborate on our department internship programs. We've established onboarding procedures. We've developed activities that teach public health practice while teaching hands-on job skills. So we hope to make the internship a valuable time for our interns and gaining experience in working with the county, and then ultimately hoping that they apply for us when their internship is over. And also thank you to Katie Johnson in our department, who's been a really great mentor for all of our interns. In the spirit of staff development, our leadership team wanted me to share a program that I recently was accepted into. The Association of State and Territorial Health Officials, also called ASTOS, in partnership with the Satcher Health Leadership Institute and the Morehouse School of Medicine, has a public health leadership program that's a competitive nationwide program sponsored by the CDC. The program is aimed to mid to senior level governmental health professionals to empower participants with opportunities to strengthen leadership skills and connect with other health agencies across the country, such as the CDC, the NIH, the FDA, etc. I applied to this competitive year-long program and am one of the 20 of the selected cohort 3. The cohort spans governmental leaders from across the country, and I'm excited and honored to work alongside this impressive group of public health professionals from across our nation. Throughout the next year, I'll be participating in monthly workshops and doing homework to learn more about current public health practice, developing my own strategic leadership plan, and making valuable connections at the national level on behalf of Tuolumne County. While I'm not excited about the homework part, I am excited to be able to learn and connect with different people across the country to bring resources, connections, and networking to our health department here in Tuolumne County, and I'm excited to represent California and Tuolumne County in this program at the CDC level. And lastly, 211 update. I wanted to provide a quick update on 211 and our new resource guide. 211 is still moving forward. We are still working on some behind-the-scenes contract work and hope to launch that service by the end of the year, at which time we'll connect with all the relevant stakeholders to do promotion of the service. In the meantime, though, to bridge that gap, we still have our community resource guide. I wanted to provide a little bit of background about these guides. They were initially developed in-house by Public Health to give to our clients and patients. The guide is a resource for any health and social service organizations that are free, low cost, or Medi-Cal eligible. As the interest in the guides expanded, so did the demand. So throughout the past few years, we've been able to use various public health grants to cover the cost of printing a limited number of hard copies that we distribute to partner agencies and community members. We do this about every 2 to 3 years. So in an effort to meet kind of the needs of community partners and feedback we received about the guide, we have expanded resource sections and added new features such as an at-a-glance resource list for the unhoused population per the requests of the County Homelessness Department. So law enforcement partners or community partners can immediately grab this guide, flip to the back, and find the top most used resources for our unhoused community. We have a notes section for case managers to write in. Apparently that was important, so we put that in there. And then an emergency evacuation checklist. So for community members who have this and they have to evacuate during a fire, there's a what to do before you evacuate, 1 hour, if you have a couple hours, and what to prepare for in your go kit. And then we've updated the sections on the back to reflect all the most current emergency info, local radio stations. And, also, the exciting part, there's a youth guide. So for parents, they can use the youth guide section and access the new youth resource guide that was made possible through collaboration of Public Health, Tuolumne County Office of Education, and other partners. So a lot more new sections, a lot more new resources, and a lot more edits for me to continue through. But this will go in today for print, and we're printing about 7,000 copies. We are working on a distribution plan of how we will get this out to partners and patients and clients in an equitable manner. And once we've figured that out, we will update the board. But in the meantime, check out our social media. This will also be made available for download online and will be translated in Spanish in a couple months. So it will be available in a variety of methods. And also shout out to Madeline, who made the map that's in here. So we put a map in there also, which was very exciting. So otherwise, thank you to all the public health staff and community members that helped put the guide together. It will be done and off my desk in approximately 3 weeks. Thank goodness. So thank you.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you, Christina. I see you have a lot of tabs that are notated there, and that's good, and we really appreciate the work. Thank you.
Yeah, that was an incredible staff report. You've been busy, and the resource guide has been in existence since at least the 1990s, from what I know. So the expansion you have made this time is incredible. Thank you so much for all your work.
There's a new cover art.
Here comes another busy person. Good morning.
Good morning, members of the board. I'm here today to give you a quick, Ed Hogue, Facilities Director for the county. I'm here to give you a quick update on a couple of our emergency repair projects that we've been in the process of. Our first one is the March 11th thunderstorm damage that we had to 11 different buildings here in the county. Those also affected actually 12 different departments. I'm proud to announce that we are down to 3 carpet projects that need to be completed, but everyone is in their buildings and doing their work for the public. The lead time for carpet has been our big hang up on this whole project to get these things cleaned up. But the carpet has been delivered, and we're scheduling that work right now. And we're hoping to have those 3 facilities completed by the end of the month. Big news for the community is Standard Park. We're in the final portion of reconstructing all 4 of the fields out at Standard Park. And it looks like they're hoping to be done in about the next 10 days. So I'll be working with Eric Aiken from the rec department so he can start getting his schedules back together for all the programs that are going out there. Our last item that I want to talk to you about today is the fire that we had at the Groveland Community Hall. That happened on the 25th of June. I was there that morning. It started in the evening around 4:30 in the morning. And since that time, I'm working with the insurance company for the county. They have brought in Belfour Restoration to be the lead repair company to be working on this. And we have already met with our architects, structural engineers, fire investigator, and a multitude of folks from Belfour that were doing some drying operations trying to save the hardwood floor that's in the building. It looks at this time, the building had damage to the front of the building and to the roof section of the front meeting room. And the building, right now, we don't have all the reports back from the structural and architects, but in just conversations with them on site, they believe it is very repairable. And so we will be moving forward with getting all those reports back, and I'll bring you some more information when that's available. Thank you very much.
Just one question. There are quite a few groups up there in Groveland that had their belongings for their particular nonprofit stored. How do you want them to contact you?
So I've already started that process. We're doing, I've given my email to a couple people up there who are going to share it between the different department or different groups. And all of those items are available to be picked up. We'll be just scheduling that with them.
Okay.
And then we'll be getting all that out of the building before we start any work in there so they can use those items.
Okay, so they should email you directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll be putting together a schedule with Belfour Restoration so they can give them access to the building.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Ed, real quick, when Standard Park opens in 10 days, is that the beginning of opening it up to the public, or just starting to schedule softball, soccer, all that stuff?
Yeah, so first I got to talk with Eric to see, where we're going to be on his schedule, what he's going to be doing. But the only thing that we may have an issue with is we had to replace part of the turf around the infields, and they just have to make sure that that material knits and gets rooted before we start playing on it. But it's already been installed, and it's been doing pretty good. And with this kind of weather and the irrigation out there, we should be coming along really quick.
Okay.
So it'll depend on the turf, probably. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning, Board, Madam Chair, Bill Pooley, Sheriff. I just want to take a minute to recognize some of the great things going on at the Sheriff's Office. Most notably, the Sacramento area section of Mothers Against Drunk Driving has recognized our boating enforcement unit as the outstanding unit of the year. That unit consists of Sergeant Romel Cuellar, Deputy Dan Newman, and Deputy Jeremy Green. And as to Jeremy Green, he's actually been singled out and recognized as the Boating Enforcement Deputy of the Year. And we're very proud of the folks that are in that unit. Those folks have been out this past year. They've probably issued more citations than we have in the past several years combined. They're doing a great job. They're out there. They're doing the education, not only around safety, but DUI or BUI enforcement, and are just doing a great job, and I want to recognize them. So next month, or actually at the end of this month, we're going to be out up in Sacramento recognizing those folks. And then lastly, first Tuesday in August is National Night Out. This year it falls on August 1st. It's a joint partnership with basically all the law enforcement agencies and first responders in the county. It's going to be held, again, Tuesday, August 1st from 6 to 8 o'clock at Epperson Park up in Twain Harte. We picked it up there this year, hoping to be a little cooler because typically National Night Out falls on the hottest day of the year. It seems like every year. Anyway, it's a great way to come out and meet our folks, build partnerships with the community, and we want to invite everyone here and everyone in the public to come take part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Board. My name is Michael Roberson with Homeless Services here at Tuolumne County, and I wanted to, as you all know, the county closed escrow on the Tuolumne County Navigation Center up in Sosbyville last Friday, and so that's exciting news for us as we move forward with developing more housing capacity for our unsheltered neighbors. As a part of that, though, now we kick into gear with the development of that program and sort of the readying of that building, the facility there. And so we have some volunteer days that I would like to make the community aware of. Next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 8 to 5 each day, there'll be opportunities for people to do things, cleaning and sorting and organizing for every kind of person with every kind of availability or ability we would like to have participate. There's a way to sign up online if you just Google the Homeless Services virtual bulletin board. There's a sign up there, or you can just show up on any of those days for any amount of time. It's a great opportunity for community to get involved and to help prepare this facility. So we would like to make sure everyone engages at that as much as possible. I did put some of the flyers for that on the back table as well. And then also would like to remind the public that your homelessness committee advisory group will be meeting in here on Thursday morning of this week at 9 a.m. and we would like to invite people out for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent calendar. And before I ask our clerk of the board to read the items on the consent calendar, I wanted to mention that late last night we had to pull item number 8. So we will no longer have that as part of our agenda today, just in case anybody is here for that item. All right, Heather, would you be so kind?
Consent calendar, item number 1, approving an agreement for older adult prevention and early intervention services between Tuolumne County Behavioral Health, Tuolumne, and Catholic Charities in an amount not to exceed $90,000 per fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2025, and authorize the county administrator to sign all related documents. This is included in the fiscal year 23-24 budget. Item number 2, approving an agreement for prevention and early intervention services between Tuolumne County Behavioral Health, Tuolumne, and Infant Child Enrichment Services in an amount not to exceed $87,550 per fiscal year, beginning July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025, and authorize the county administrator to sign all related documents included in the fiscal year 23-24 budget. Item number 3, approving amendment number 1 to the Tuolumne County Transportation Council Joint Powers Agreement to address fiscal responsibility and the city and county as required by CalPERS. Item number 4, rejecting all bids for contract number 1722, Tuolumne Road Surface Treatment Project, and issuing a new call for bids to be due on August 3rd, 2023 at 2 p.m. Item number 5, authorizing Supervisor Brandon for out-of-state travel to attend the 2023 NACO Annual Conference in Travis County, Texas, July 21st through 24th, 2023, with an estimated travel expense of $800. Item number 6, approval of an Airports Division event participant waiver, release, and hold harmless agreement. And item number 7, this one had a clerical error, so I will read it as it should have been with the resolution number included. Item number 7, as the Air Pollution Control Board, adopting Resolution 68.68-23, approving the amended prescribed burn reporting and monitoring support program grant between the California Air Resources Board and the Tuolumne County Air Pollution Control District, recognizing unanticipated revenue and increasing appropriations in the amount of $10,000. This requires 4/5 approval, and authorizing the county administrator to sign.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask the board if anybody has an item, first of all, that you want to pull. I'm not asking about comments.
I don't know if I need to make a comment to know if I need to pull it.
Okay.
So
Any outright pulling at this point? Okay. So comments.
So on number 5 for NACO,
He does have to pull this item.
I do have to pull that if I'm going to discuss it?
Oh.
Or
Because if you want to change the amount, we need to pull it to discuss it.
okay. So we'll pull item 5 real quick.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none? All right. Let's go to, let's see. What do we want to do? Do we want to have, go. Yeah, let's vote on the consent calendar, everything except for number 5. But we need to have public comment first. So anybody that is in the audience that would like to comment on the consent calendar, everything except for item number 5, please come forward. Okay, seeing none, do we have any discussion from board members? All right, I'd entertain a motion at this point.
Chair, I'd move we adopt the consent calendar minus item 5.
I'll second.
Okay, it was moved by Supervisor Campbell and seconded by Supervisor Goldenberg. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that carries 5-0. All right, on to number 5. And Heather, would you please read that again?
Item number 5, authorizing Supervisor Brandon for out-of-state travel to attend the 2023 NACO Annual Conference in Travis County, Texas, July 21st through 24th, 2023, with an estimated travel expense of $800.
Okay, Supervisor Kirk, did you want to expand upon that?
Just real quick. So I know we all know travel to go back east is going to cost more than $800. So the reason why I wanted to pull it was because my understanding was Supervisor Brendan might go out of pocket a little bit to make this work. He is vice chair of the Technology and Telecommunications Committee. I've had a few conversations with him about some of the work he's doing, and I think there was some concern that because Goldenberg was going, and anyways, irrelevant. If we go to do business on behalf of Tuolumne County, and I know what he gets, I know what we get paid. Our salary is minimal, so I just don't want a supervisor going out of pocket to do work on behalf of Tuolumne County. So the point of this is, can we just change the amount or whatever it's going to be to cover the costs for him to go to NACO for those?
What are you proposing?
Well, that's the problem, is we don't know exactly how much it costs. So can we have a limit, like a not to exceed or up to? I'm kind of looking for
maybe we can have Supervisor Brandon chime in, because he might know what the costs actually are.
And this wasn't his idea. I texted him this morning right before the board meeting, not understanding the 800. So,
and I appreciate it, because it can be expensive, and there are costs that I always try to take on myself when it comes to any type of per diem stuff. But this was kind of cutting it close. I think it is probably enough, but having a cushion in case for travel and parking and stuff like that at the airport. It's $600 for a NACO county member county to attend one of these events, and then the round trip is about $161 to $260, depending if I want to spend 10 hours on a Spirit Airlines flight at 3 or 4 a.m. But I'm trying to basically take a red eye on whatever ends up being cheapest. So if it was moved to say up to 1,000 for the authorization, I'll be still going along the same things, but it would give a little bit of cushion to cover some of those expenses.
I'm sorry, is that covering your cost for food and lodging and stuff?
Normally, I end up almost always covering my own cost for food, and I do have lodging arranged.
Okay.
That's one of the ways to save a little money on it. So,
any other board discussion or questions?
Nope.
Well,
I would.
No.
My only comment was that that seems reasonable. So.
Okay. And Supervisor Goldenberg.
Well, I do see that as reasonable and appreciate that Supervisor Brandon is willing to work to the best of his ability to limit the costs. I know that when our board approved my travel, it was at the level of $2,800. So it's a, pretty big difference. I would suggest that we authorize up to that amount, and if Supervisor Brandon can shave some costs along the way, that would be appreciated.
Or could you possibly shave yours down?
Those costs are pretty hard.
Those are pretty hard costs?
Yeah.
If Supervisor Brandon has hotel or his lodging already accompanied, I would just say $1,500 to cover costs of food and whatever miscellaneous stuff might come up. Because the lodging I could see the lodging bringing it up to that cost. But if he's got that covered, that's just, point being, you're going there to do county business. You get paid a minimum wage from the county, so let's just at least cover the cost while you're there. So I would say if $1,500, I think food and anything miscellaneous, you think $1,500 would possibly cover it?
Works for me, and whatever's not spent just returns to the line item.
So that would be my recommendation, just
either way.
$1,500.
All right, we'll take this to the public to see if there's any public comment on this particular item. Good morning.
Board members. David Wynn. My only question, I have really not opposed to it, but I believe, if I'm right, Carl Rotifer, Supervisor Rotifer, was the first county representative to be part of NACO. I think that's true. Before, the county was never involved with NACO. I'm just curious, is it worth it? I mean, when you attend, do you really bring back something that's beneficial to Tuolumne County? And hopefully, when you come back, you give a full report. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for any final comments, and if there are none, I'm willing to entertain a motion.
I'd be open to Supervisor Kirk's suggestion if he would like to make that motion.
Sure, so I'll make a motion to approve out-of-state travel for NACO, and we'll change the expense from $800 to $1,500.
And I'll second.
Okay, it was moved by Supervisor Kirk and seconded by Supervisor Goldenberg. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that carries 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, so we are on, let's see, number 9, is that correct? All right, if you'll please read that, Heather.
Item number 9, consideration of approving fiscal year 2022 through 2023 year-end adjustments for FIS approval required.
Good morning,
All
Board.
right, good morning, Liz.
Liz Peterson with the County Administrator's Office. Just a couple last minute changes now. I always say it's the last time, but apparently it's not. Just a couple, year-end adjustments, and we're talking for fiscal year 22-23. So I'm just going to run through the memo here. First, we're going to talk about the county capital and capital housing funds. So on May 16th, we brought to the board the full range of year-end adjustments and kind of the year-end review to your board, and your board made a variety of changes. And one of the things that happened then was your board recognized revenue and increased appropriations in the capital opioid fund or cost center, as well as the capital care cost center. And that was for funding that we've received for both of those efforts. And so, as your board knows, we are using some of that funding to purchase the property on Rafferty Court for the Navigation Center, as well as some of the Homeless Housing and Assistance Prevention, or HAP, grant funding. And so what we are asking your board to do today, excuse me, is to approve, this is really just like a technical change, to ensure that the purchase of the asset of the Navigation Center comes from the fund where it should be accounted for on the balance sheet, rather than the cost being spread over three different cost centers. I'm requesting your board take the action to move the funds from the Capital Housing Fund to the County Capital Fund, and that is all the detail of those line item changes is listed in Attachment A. And then lastly, in the general fund, we always try to anticipate when we're putting our year-end review together for your board, which again happened in May this year. We always try to anticipate where departments think they will end the year, and then we come to your board with any needed increases to appropriations to get us through the rest of the year. And so in the Animal Control Cost Center, we knew that we were going to have some increases in salaries because of changes to MOUs and some other, some overtime costs. But they anticipated that their expenses and their services and supplies would be lower to kind of offset that cost. Well, as we got to the end of the year, that ended up not being the case. As we know, animal control operates on quite a tight budget, and so for a variety of reasons, they had to spend all of what they had allocated in their budget. So we're asking your board today to increase their appropriations in their cost center by $20,000, and then that would go toward the overtime salaries. But that would also be offset by recognizing revenue in our general fund miscellaneous revenues cost center, also by $20,000. This is revenue that has come in higher than anticipated in our property taxes, our supplemental property taxes. And the detailed information of the line item changes is also listed in Attachment A. So I'm just asking your board to approve those changes, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, let's go with questions first. Does anybody have questions for Liz? Okay, then we will go to the public to see if anybody in the room has comments or questions on this agenda item. Seeing none, I'll bring it back for any comments from the board, or if there are no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Have we ever had a meeting that's ended before 10 a.m.?
We still have reports.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, no.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Motion to approve and move on staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Supervisor Brandon and seconded by Supervisor Campbell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries 5-0. Well, I don't think we're going to need a break, so we're just going to move on to reports, and I will ask our county council if she has anything for us. How about our CAO? Okay, who wants to start as far as board members? We haven't done reports in a long time, and I know that a lot of the stuff that you may have wanted to report on is going to be probably old and not relevant anymore, but give us what you got. Supervisor Kirk.
I'll make it short. Regular meetings as always. However, I did attend a Tween Art Homeowners Association. It was very well attended, really good, and I don't want to... I'll just tell you what I did. My typical question regarding, I know the county, I know we're talking about purchasing homes for transitional housing. Some of it may be permanent, some of it not. I did my same question to the community, and I got 1 or 2 hands raised for those who would want to buy permanent housing to put people in permanently. And then I'd say the other 100 or 200 folks raise their hand for the idea of using those homes to transition people into permanent housing. So I'm just letting the board know where the 99% of the community, I think, supports transitioning people through that housing, but not making them land in that permanently. So I just want to make you guys aware. And I've done that at 2 town hall events now. Cerro Project, I got a tour with Jason and Benjamin. Last week we went up and checked out all the work that they've been doing, all the prescribed burns. And, you read about it and you look at maps, but then when you go up and you look at it, it's phenomenal. And actually I had Liz, I'll send you guys the map, but it shows all the prescribed burns. It shows all the work that we've done. And we're making that horseshoe around Tuolumne County. So it was really cool to go on that field trip and check it out and hear how fast things are moving. We're years ahead of the game, and the money keeps rolling in. Finally, insurance. I know we're all dealing with insurance issues, but it continues to be #1 issue in my district. They're talking about the fair plan going up 35 to 50% this year. One constituent of mine, he pays $45,000 a year for all of his insurance needs. And we just lost Kinematic Automation, or I'm not saying the last part of it right, but anyways, we all know we lost Kinematic. We're being crushed. So I just want you guys to hear that. So,
thank you. Supervisor Brandon.
And thank you for the comments on that too, because even living in a lower fire risk area, I'm right on the border with high and medium there. I spend $4,000 a year on my fire insurance. I could hit a fire station with a stone. And it's really unfortunate because it's not just economically crushing us, it's crushing our ability for people to buy houses. So even if you can overcome the interest rate and the cost and get a job to afford it, it's almost as much as property taxes, if not more at some points. And we got kind of a pre-Prop 13 situation where it just keeps going up every year and it's pricing people out of homes. But it seems the state doesn't care when it's not in an urban area. A number of things happening. I'll leave. We had a great meeting with our state senator, and thank you, Supervisor Campbell, and cover anything with that. I wanted to focus on one thing that's been a big, important issue for my district, and this has been around encampments and the encampment at Rawhide Bridge. And 2 months ago, Supervisor Half, you had introduced an idea that I really support, which is the idea of having more enforcement along waterways. I'd say particularly bridges and infrastructure where there's also a pedestrian safety hazard, as a way to try and navigate some of the complex legal requirements of what we can and can't do. We should be able to get that done. I'm hoping that is something that we can revisit and have that brought back, because what happened is almost overnight we went from probably one guy camping underneath there to a full-blown 15 different people, several encampments popping up, a bunch of vehicles, and this has taken up a lot of time. And I want to thank, the state agency partners. Fish and Game brought out 2 vehicles, did a little cleanup, did warnings, and what they're able to do. They're under similar restrictions to our sheriff and to social services, who also have all gone out to talk to the members of the encampment. But more is needed to be done because, in particular, if you know that intersection pretty well, it's a lot of traffic jams. There's a lot of sometimes angry drivers. You need to cross streets, and there is not. It's not a safe location. Several times a year, if you were camping in that spot, you would be washed away and swept downstream. So if a flash flood was to happen, it's extremely hazardous. There's a lot of residences there and also a lot of fuel there, and it has the turnouts to potentially become a very bad location for long-term parking. What I'm hoping to be able to bring forward, and is a little bit in progress, would be a no parking zone until we're able to move on the Rawhide Bridge project. Also, though, I think in the meantime, it would be very helpful, and I don't know where it would come from, but we're not talking a very large area, to do a very targeted fuel reduction effort. I don't know if it's a volunteer day and we can get approval. I'll get out my chainsaw, but just to basically go and clear out some of the brush, clear out some of the small trees. So while we're working on getting those people to move along or move into services, we can mitigate that fire risk in particular, and the public easement would be very helpful. So that's the main update with that. I spent about 5 hours with everybody in that encampment, talking and getting kind of their backstory and a lot of time behind the scenes. So everybody's working on it, but those are two things that I think would continue to help it.
Thank you. I'll want to talk to you more about that. Okay, Supervisor Goldenberg, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the same thing, typical, committee meetings that we go through. I did meet with staff regarding the housing element discussions that are ongoing and coming up in productive session. Fire Safety Advisory Committee, it's got a lot of efforts going on. We're setting priorities, for this next year, over the balance of 2023 into 2024. Insurance, fire insurance is absolutely a critical area, and I've got some thoughts on that, and we're going to be working on it within the committee to try and address that, further. Met with the Tuolumne Fire Safe Council, great group, and they're working in conjunction with not only our Fire Safety Advisory Committee, but with both the state and federal agencies. And we're trying to coordinate those efforts and looking at prioritizing, there as well. And I would like to note, on the Supervisor Brandon, made a comment, regarding the escalating insurance costs. We don't have Proposition 13 type of protections here, so it's been hugely impactful, to ourselves personally and many people and businesses, within the county. Did have a good meeting with the Tuolumne Chamber of Commerce Governmental Affairs Commission, and that was very good. Senator Marie Alvarado Gill was not there, but her Deputy Chief of Staff, Dana Jacobson, was there and has been for each meeting that I've been attending. He's very attentive and very willing to carry things, and I know Supervisor Campbell, I think, is going to speak to this as well, but Senator Alvarado Gill has been very proactive and working on many issues. Other than that, I continue personally to look at, both from a fire perspective as well as the impacts, and I know this is very near and dear to the heart of Supervisor Half, the PG&E issues that are ongoing. I've been meeting with PG&E staff biweekly, and that's a standard meeting that I've had, and it's been productive. Do they always end up where I would like them to be? Maybe not necessarily, but I think we're making progress. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Supervisor Campbell.
Thank you, Chair. So I had planned on talking a bit about fire insurance, but I think that subject's been covered. So, but I would echo Supervisor Goldenberg's comments. This is the single, as far as I'm concerned, this is the single most important issue that we can deal with on the Fire Safety Committee right now. But enough's been said about that. So I wanted to bring to your attention something that you may or may not be aware of. So I participated in the ESJPA. That's the environmental group wing of the RCRC. And most of the discussion is a lengthy meeting. Most of the discussion was centered around something called PFAS. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but what that is, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's a chemical that was used in airports for fire suppression. And there's been research. It's been found to cause cancer. It's a really bad, nasty chemical. And so there are efforts in the legislature to force counties to clean it up. And so it's going to be a real problem. It's going to be really expensive for any counties that have airports, and we have 2. So this really could impact our county, and it's sort of the big issue that's coming up in terms of environmental cleanup on the horizon. So the efforts that RCRC is doing is to say, it wasn't counties that chose that as a chemical for fire suppression. It was marketed very aggressively by the industry that produces PFAS, and so why are the taxpayers being held responsible for the cleanup is kind of the argument that we're making. But that's going to raise in the profile, that's going to increase over the next couple of years or year. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it. The second thing I want to mention is that we are in the first phase of rolling out the vegetation ordinance that was passed last year. You're going to start seeing flyers and public information being shared about what is an individual property owner's responsibility with respect to the county's vegetation ordinance. That's going to be fairly high profile over this summer for obvious reasons. I think, you're going to see people with a lot of questions. People are already calling the fire inspector with questions, so it's definitely out there that this is coming down the line, and that over the next 2 years they'll start to be enforced, and the expectation is that people will be complying with the law. I visited the pass yesterday. There's snow up there, or I'm not yesterday, on Sunday, and there's still a lot of snow up there. So we live in a really pretty county. So, and that the last thing, I guess I'll end it there.
And I skipped over our clerk of the board. Heather, do you have any reports? Okay. Didn't want to single you out. So I have a couple of things. I took a few days off around the 4th of July holiday to actually visit with my 2 adult children away out of the area. And lo and behold, we had a whole PG&E outages and miscommunications and so forth over in Groveland. It was a mess. So I came back, and I've been focusing on dealing with the various problems connected with that holiday weekend, which typically is the biggest weekend of the year, if not just the summer. And business owners lost thousands and some hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it was awful for everybody because the electricity kept going off and then coming back on briefly and then going off again, to the point where there was only maybe 2 hours of power per day for over a 3.5-day period. Totally unacceptable. And so discussions, I started discussions with PG&E, and I've attended some meetings. I attended a meeting on Friday night over in Groveland at Camp Tuolumne Trails along with Dory Beats. And then another meeting yesterday, GCSD held a special meeting that I also attended. And I'm working with the CAO on our internal and external communications, staff communications, because that kind of broke down, and we're working on making sure that doesn't happen again, and then also working on holding PG&E's feet to the fire as far as they're inadequate, and that's the best way I can put it, supervision of what happened. So I did get a notification from PG&E last night because they promised they were doing a deep dive into what happened. They were EPSS events. I don't know how many, at least 5 that happened over that weekend. It just kept tripping all the time. And so I finally got word from them, from their engineers, what had happened in their best estimation. And it was 3 regulators that weren't quite blown out, but they were damaged to the point where they were sending irregular voltage through the lines, and that's what turned the lines off, according to what their engineers said. Anyway, I've given that information to Clark Broadcasting, and hopefully the whole letter will be on mymotherlode.com. If it's not up already, it'll be up sometime this morning. And we're working on having a special agenda item next week, next Tuesday, on the 18th at 1:30 p.m. for anybody that was affected, mostly Groveland, but I think that there were possibly some people in Columbia and other parts of the county that were also adversely affected to come and tell their stories, give their experiences. We will have the VP of Operations for our region coming to this meeting, along with the EPSS director from PG&E, as well as our new governmental affairs person. I made 2 demands of PG&E. One was to get to the bottom of what happened and fix it immediately. The second one was regarding the microgrid. In Groveland, 2 years ago, a microgrid was put in for the downtown area, but it was only for PSPS events, you know, the power shutoff, where you know in advance and they bring a generator up and so forth. Well, they're not doing PSPS events, according to PG&E, anymore. The ESPS works much better. Anyway, I won't make a comment about that, but my demand to them was a big ask, but it is a demand, and we'll see what they do with it, that they'll come and answer to on the 18th, is I would like them to turn that microgrid into a full-time power source for when the power goes out to the downtown area of Groveland. It's already wired. It's already set up. All they got to do is set it for any event so that when the power goes out everywhere else, the power still comes on in downtown Groveland. So those businesses do not have to lose everything. And that's what happened over the holiday weekend. Senator Alvarado Gil has written a letter to PG&E, and that will be presented at this meeting. She will I don't think she's going to be here, but I've been talking to her chief of staff, Chad Condit, and I think he's trying to make arrangements to be here. And possibly somebody from Tom McClintock's office will also be here. So we've got a lot of things to work out, and I'm hoping for solutions and not bureaucratic speak from PG&E, and we'll see what happens. So that's all I want to say about that. I am going to RCRC this afternoon, and I'll be at the meeting all day tomorrow. And as always, for staff or board members, if you have something you want me to bring up at the rural all-county roundtable to discuss with other counties to see if they're having the same problems or how we can join together, please give me that information. Email me or text me and let me know what you'd like me to bring up for that meeting so that we can work together on that. And that was it. Now, you had something else, Supervisor Kirk?
While we were talking about insurance, and we all agree, and we know that it's our number one legislative priority. I got an email from Dory that she was invited to a workshop. So Dory, if the board's okay, she got invited to a workshop regarding insurance. If you want to come up real quick and just kind of give us a quick heads up about what that is. And I'm interested to see what she says. But something that was also running through my mind when I went on that field trip with Jason Kiken to see the Cerro project and everything that we've done. I live here. I know about it. It's in my district. I see the maps. I hear the conversations. But yet to be there in person is a whole nother thing. And I think about the Cerro project. I think about the helicopter that we just got in our fire attack base. I think about the investments in county fire. I think about all these things that we're doing. And I'm just wondering I don't know if it's through the Fire Safe Council. I know you guys said you guys are working on it. I don't know if that's going to take too long. But it'd be really good for you guys to have that conversation and see if, maybe we could get Ricardo Lara and some of these underwriters from insurance companies, invite everybody up here to do a field trip, to see what we're doing, to see the horseshoe around Tuolumne County, to say it doesn't make sense to do business the way you're doing business because we're doing everything right and we're being financially crushed because nobody's even taking into consideration anything that we're doing. So I'd like to hear from Dory what you got going on, but then I'd also like to just propose to you guys working on the or on the commission, if we could maybe go that direction. So
Supervisor Haff, we will need you to reopen staff comments in order, and you won't be able to have a dialogue, but she can give you an update of what Dory's been invited to participate in.
Okay, I will reopen staff comments. Ms. Beets, would you like to come forward?
Good morning. I think it's morning. Yeah, still. Wow, it's 10 o'clock. It's awesome. As Supervisor Kirk said, I was just invited. The California Department of Insurance will be having a workshop and a kind of a public session, and they invited certain individuals to speak or prepare comments, and I was one of them. I just got this yesterday, so sorry for the late notice, as I'm catching to everything up in the last week or so. But this is a part of the work. I have been participating in the California State Fire Marshal's Risk Modeling Work Group that has been looking at developing guidelines in conjunction with both fire agencies, CAL FIRE obviously, and insurance, the insurance commissioner and insurance companies looking at risk and whether or not communities can lower risk and what that modeling would look like and that would impact potentially insurance rates. And so to Supervisor Kirk's point, it's a great opportunity for us to make a statement or a comment about that. And maybe in that would be an invitation to visit our community publicly. I think we could round up the comments in that as well. But again, looking at risk modeling, what they're talking about is data, science-driven models that take those types of activities such as fuels reduction, fire-wise communities, the work that at the ground level communities are doing, and feed that into kind of a model that says whether or not there could be a potential for fire and therefore lowering the risk. So we are doing great things within our community to lower that risk, but that is not used in the modeling. There is no modeling program currently right now to really rate the risk reduction that many of the communities are doing. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to make that statement, but also do an invitation as well. So.
And I'm seeing this is virtually.
Yes.
It looks like on the 13th.
Yes.
So can any of us participate?
I do believe so, and I'll double check with that. I think it's open to the public. So.
I'd love to comment.
Yeah. No.
Okay, thank you.
I will flesh that out for you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Supervisor Haff, just to your rural roundtable and kind of, since we're all hitting on that same point, I think it can be helpful to bring them up and tour the issue, but I think that Laura came up 3 years ago or so and it wasn't greeted well. I don't think it's a lack of understanding on it. One thing is, how do we as a minority population kind of within the state be able to get urban areas to pay attention to this? And, if there's any opportunity maybe to kind of build that, I'd say if we can maybe get them up here or can't get them up here and it's not going to mean anything, maybe we take it to them. Can we go down to the Capitol, onto the steps? Can we host a rally? I mean, between all of the rural counties you'll be meeting with, I assume that there's going to be a lot of interest in this. Everybody's frustrated. What's it look like if we bring 300 people down there and we get the news onto this and we talk about the humanitarian crisis this is creating? And maybe that's going to create the pressure that our insurance commissioner would pay attention to. I think he's probably an intelligent guy and probably understands the situation. I think it's not a priority, and that's the problem.
I'd say I agree with you, and I'd say both. Let's try and do both.
We're getting into more specifics now than I think we can in reports, but this is kind of the central issue that we're trying to focus on. We have had representatives from Ricardo Laura's office, to his credit, come and speak with us in the fire committee, and I just don't think that there's enough pressure from the other larger counties that are experiencing this. And so we've been kind of working that as well, is working with the other communities, because if you Keene and Whitman are what do you call it? Assessor recorder. I always get those mixed up, the auditor, controller, assessor. So Keene and Whitman, the assessor recorder, compiled a list of data and sent it out to us. I think it's pretty publicly available, showing that not only are we something like, we are per capita by far and away the number one highest rate of cancellations and non-renewals of insurance in the county, and also number one in terms of people using the FAIR plan. We are also something like third in total number of residents on the FAIR plan, which, when you consider that we're included with counties like LA County, Alameda, that's pretty incredible. So extremely high numbers of FAIR plan insurance in Tuolumne County, and that needs to be called out. To me, that's the pressure point that we need to hit really hard, is that our county is almost a third FAIR plan or more, and that's unacceptable.
So, and I'd like to just tag in here. Commissioner Ricardo Lara has very limited powers that he is authorized to do himself within his office, right? They've made some progress where he's been able to extend some efforts. But a lot of it is he simply does not have the ability legally to make some of the decisions that we would absolutely like to see. So, Supervisor Half, when you're talking about RCRC and efforts, this is really a legislative issue that needs to come up with the Assembly and the Senate and the Governor's office, and bring in a whole coalition of different groups, right? Whether it be the insurance industry themselves, the Commissioner's office, the banking industry, the real estate industry, and look at the impacts that we're feeling at the local level. And they're tremendous, right? I mean, they're in the real estate industry alone, they're having huge difficulties where they can't close escrows because people can't get insurance, much less the cost. So it's way beyond just, and I agree, bringing Laura here is wonderful, but he doesn't have the authority.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from the board, and I thank you all for this conversation, is that we need to agendize this probably for the second Tuesday in August, when we'll have time for this discussion, and we'll prepare for it. We'll prepare our community for it, as well as others who can speak on this, and develop a plan for how we want to approach this going forward, and to be proactive about it in some way, whether it's legislatively or through CSAC and RC. We'll have a whole full-blown discussion about it then. That would be the 8th, I believe, the second Tuesday in August. And with that, it's 10:08, and I don't know if this is record time, but I'll close the meeting for today and wish you all well, and a very cool, hopefully you can stay cool this weekend and not be disrupted with power problems. Thank you very much.